Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaefer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you. Welcome to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaefer. I'm so happy to be here. This week's episode is actually going to be an episode that I was personally interviewed in August on the Young Boss podcast by Isabelle. She has absolutely crushed it in the industry, and she has helped so many entrepreneurs through her podcast, giving them tons of different tips and tricks, interviewing the best of the best to just assist the people who are wanting to continuously grow and expand. Her podcast has amazing interviews on there, and if you haven't had a chance to go listen, go ahead. This podcast episode was one of my favorites that I've ever done for an interview, and I think that you guys are going to absolutely love it. We get into my story, we get into how you may be self-sabotaging in your business, and how to build a profitable brand on social media. I think that you guys are going to love it, so stay tuned.
You're smart, you're motivated, you want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're going to help you get there. I'm your host, Isabelle Guarino, and welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. Have you ever done subconscious reprogramming? This week, we chat about how you can grow up in a normal household and still have trauma, how that trauma can subconsciously affect your approach to life and business, why dropping out of college was the best decision she's ever made, and how becoming a mother has amplified herself in life and in business. I'm so excited to introduce Savannah Schaefer of Pink Diamonds Media, a business and life coach for high caliber women in business. Let's dive in. Okay, welcome to the show.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Tell me about your business. I'm so excited to hear more.
Yes. Okay, so I am a coach for high-level women who have businesses that are in the beauty industry, or really a ton of different industries as well, but I really like the beauty industry. Yeah. But I help them scale their businesses with more freedom, more fulfillment, more joy, and just passion, and also help them with their habits and a lot of their personal life. Because for me, I personally do not believe that your business can thrive if your personal life is not in order. Yeah. So I kind of do a little bit of business strategy and systems and stuff, and then I do a lot of personal work with limiting beliefs, subconscious reprogramming, and all of that kind of jazz.
I love this.
Yeah,
sounds like
so
a dream job.
It's the best. I'm so grateful. I feel like I found it perfect time in my life, and at such a young age that being in this position is just a dream come true.
How did you even discover that this was a direction you wanted to go?
Honestly, in the beginning, I wanted to go to school to be a teacher, actually.
Okay.
And so I knew that I wanted to be leading people in some capacity because I have always loved that. And then when I was 18 or 17, actually, I got a DM from a girl on Instagram, and she asked if I wanted to join her company. They had a ton of mentors in it. And so I started to recognize what it was like to be mentored and coached and things like that. And quickly I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But I thought that I was going to do it maybe when I was like 25. I was like, that's for the future. And then when I got pregnant, I was like, this is the place that I want to go. I want to do this. This is the perfect time to make a move. And I left like a 6-figure business to then go start from the ground up with my own coaching business. And it's taken off, and it's so freaking cool.
Okay, what are even the first steps you take? Because you're talking about having to get clients and have them be convinced that this is a good investment. So what does that look like to even start in this industry?
For me, it's all social media. Okay. So I've been on social media using it as a business platform for 6 years.
Wow.
I drove $1 million in sales throughout the last company that I was with. Yeah. And then when I went off on my own, it's just been incredible. So I would say the first steps is just branding yourself on social media and really building a platform that people feel who you are. They know your energy. They know that you're authentic, genuine, and they trust the things that you're talking about and just the person that you are.
Yeah. Have you ever had that first one-on-one meeting with a new client and been like, not the right fit for me?
Ooh, I mean, I've definitely had a client before that has been a little challenging for me, just because I don't really feel like it's the right fit. Like, I think the only time it's not a right fit is if you don't keep the promises that you're making to me and yourself.
Okay.
Like, if you're gonna say, I really want to build this business, or I want to pursue this, and then anytime that we hop on a call, you're not doing anything to get there, or you're like, my life is just so crazy right now, like I just can't. Like, all of our lives are crazy. So you have to sit down and make the time to make your dreams a reality. And if you're not going to do that, then like anything that I say to you, it's a waste of your money that you're investing into yourself at the end of the day. So I've had to fire one client ever. And that was kind of the situation, is like, and we just weren't on the same page, unfortunately. And I want to be with girls who are progressing, ready to put in the work, and actually wanting to see a change in their life.
Okay, I love that. I would just assume that sometimes you get down the road with them and it's like, it's actually not the right fit.
Usually they're the right fit, though. I feel like
front.
Usually I'm attracting the right kind of people, I feel like.
Okay. Talk to me about college. You dropped out of college.
Yeah,
okay.
I did. So
Good decision, bad decision?
Oh, best decision. A really big decision I made, but one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Okay.
So I was going to be a teacher. Then when I actually like started to get into college, like my first like day or whatever, I was like, you know what? I know that I'm probably going to go the route of like business and stuff. So I ended up switching my major to communications and marketing, because I was not going to learn calculus in business classes. So I switched it. And then from there, I was in it. It was cool, but I was learning about things that I didn't want to learn about, that I didn't care about learning about. And I made the decision on a trip with a bunch of other entrepreneurs. They were like, why are you going to school? And I was like, honestly, just to learn more about what I'm already doing, being a business owner. And I dropped out on this trip. I got home, cried to my parents at the kitchen table, and said, I'm so sorry. I don't want to disappoint you guys, but this is just not the route for me. And I made a commitment to myself that I was going to learn more than I learned in college outside of it. And I absolutely have. I'm an avid learner. I love learning. I'm always soaking up new information. So it was just the best choice for me. And then I wanted to learn about the things that I actually care about and that will help me long term. And learning about all the things in college like just didn't make sense for me for the direction I wanted to go.
Were your parents pissed?
They were definitely upset, because I think that they saw, I have 5 other siblings.
Okay.
One of
what
them.
What number are you?
I have 6 total. Sorry. I have an older brother that's a half brother.
Okay.
But I am the third technically.
You're third. Okay, so you're like right in the middle.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle. And I'm the oldest girl.
Okay.
So I've got 3 younger sisters.
Okay.
And they all look up to me.
Yes.
Which is great. And so my older brother, he didn't go to college. My oldest brother didn't go to college. And so I was the first one that was going, and they were really, really excited about that. And they were seeing me progress, and they were like, yes, now she's going to college. Like, yes. And then when I dropped out, like, I just told them, I know who I am, and this is the decision that I'm making. And they just trust me. They trust what I'm doing. And they weren't too upset about it. I think they were upset for a little bit, and they saw how upset I was, because I didn't want to disappoint them. But then they were like, all right, like, let's see. And I just kind of proved by my actions. Like, that same year, I moved out of my parents' house. I ended up like hitting milestones in my business. Like, I just showed them, like, I don't need this. I'm progressing so much outside of this that there's no reason to waste my time and energy and some of their money.
Money.
Honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you proved them wrong a little bit.
Definitely.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I know that you wanting to go to school to be a teacher, and now you're kind of using those skills.
Yeah.
And I talk to business owners about that all the time. I'm like, as kids, we're so like, prone to thinking like there's these 20 jobs I can have. And so even you saying like, okay, I knew I wanted to do that, but that's not actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to use those skills I had to go do something else. Do you feel like you're fulfilled in that way now?
Oh yeah. I had no idea that this existed.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew that there was like business owners, but like I thought that it was just brick and mortar like type businesses. It was never something that I thought was going to be the thing that I'm doing currently.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the best direction for me to go is this. And then this is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done, just because I'm making such a personal impact in people's lives. Like not only am I scaling their income massively, but they're not having panic attacks. They're not having anxiety attacks anymore. They're not sitting there overthinking their next moves. Like, it's creating long-term change for the rest of their lives. And so for them to work with me for 6 months and then go off and kill it in whatever industry they're in, it is the most fulfilling thing to watch all of my clients blossom. And right now I feel like I've just hit a point where all of my girls are just like, one of them just now bought her first house. She's building a house from the ground up at 24 years old. Like, they're doing really big things. And so me as a coach just watching it, I'm like, I just feel like they're all my daughters or like my little sisters. And I'm like, yes, like I freaking love you guys. Like go hard. Let's make this happen. It's so cool to see the people just blossom from something that you told them or something that sticks with them forever. It's so special.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about you have really focused a lot on social media and building a profitable brand through that.
Yeah.
So what are some key strategies for building a brand, or what are some strategies that don't work?
Okay, so strategies that do work is, I would say, like branding yourself. So that would entail coming up with like your 5 brand pillars.
Okay.
So 5 things that you always want to be sharing about, because you want to be building a place where people can come to and they don't just know you as like, oh, she's that business girl and whatever. They know like who you actually are. What are your beliefs? What are your morals? What are your things that you're actually into? So I share about motherhood. I share about just my lifestyle. I share about fitness. I share about wellness. I share a lot about mindset. And then of course my business is thrown in there too. So when they come to me, they're not just like, they don't just see it as like a sale. They see it as, I love this girl. She is so awesome. I love her energy. I align with who she is outside of business and inside of business. And so they want to feed into the pockets of those that they appreciate and they love and they trust. So I would say brand pillars for sure.
Okay.
Be sharing about multiple different things in your life. Throw up a camera when you're doing the most mundane tasks, because people relate to that. Like I will literally record myself unloading the dishwasher and people are sending me love just for doing that, but it's because they do that in their everyday life. Like it's something that they can then identify themselves within your content, and then they know like, she's just like me. Like she's not, I don't ever want to be this girl that's above all or totally perfect. I feel like there was a point in time in my journey where I was like, I need to look a specific way. I need to talk a specific way. I need to be a specific way because I want people to think of me as the expert. And that's great, but people sometimes can see that and be like, I could never get to her level. Like that's not easy for me to attain. So I just bring in as much authenticity and genuine, just everything that I'm going through, I'm open about. And I just let down the walls because I want people to know, like, I'm just like you, babe. I'm maybe 2 steps ahead of you, but like, I'm just like you. I'm going through the exact same things. I've been in the exact same place as you. And people really appreciate that. So brand pillars, authenticity, consistency.
Yeah.
Like, don't even start if you're not going to be consistent. Straight up. Like, I think that maybe it's a younger generation thing, but it's this entitlement of, I deserve to be successful after you make one post about your business going live. No one is going to buy from you by doing that. You have to show up every day or multiple times a week at least. Like, show up not only for yourself, but for the people who you desire to work with and all of that. So there's multiple different things, but I think that creating a really strong personal brand, it brings people in and they love that. They love to know the insides of your life. So I like to just peel back the layers and show everybody like, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm working through. But this is also what I'm continuously doing every single day to make sure that I'm showing up as my best. And I just show it all.
I think that that's a really cool thing. And it's a really vulnerable thing because it's not maybe the coolest thing to show mundane things or what you're doing. It's more cool to show the fun vacation you're going on.
The luxury bags.
Right.
Of course.
And that's what people are thinking. That's what I need to show because that's what they want to see.
That's so true.
Do you have to have those conversations with your clients?
I would say because I do think that there is this disconnect where people want to look a specific way on social media, but then when you meet them in person, it's not the same.
No.
And that does not ever end well. It's not cool. And if you're showing up and all you're posting about is the luxury vacations and the car that you drive and all that stuff, like that stuff is awesome. But that just shows that you're really just in it for the money, in my opinion. I'm in it for the freedom, the fulfillment, the love, the joy, the peaceful moments, me going to escape for a weekend without social media. That's why I'm doing this. So I want people to see, like, I'm not just showing up to
show off
for you to send me $1,000 to help you or whatever it is. Like, I'm not trying to just go buy a Louis. Like, I really want to truly make a difference. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but it's just doing them in a tasteful way. Like, you can still show off those things for sure, but doing that in combination with also just showing like you're a down to earth, real human being. And none of that stuff actually makes you happy. Like it's cool, but like none of it actually like makes you super grateful where you're like beaming from the inside out.
Yeah.
Me beaming from the inside out is taking a second with my freaking tea and like sitting there on my porch just being like, I love my life. Like it's just different.
Yep.
It's just different. And you're going to attract how you're showing up. So if you want to have the people who are maybe more materialistic, that's fine. But like, that's who you're attracting. I don't want to attract people like that. I want to attract people who are into that, but more into experiences in life and feeling a certain way and things like that.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about some of the biggest obstacles, because there's so many obstacles that happen in business. But what do you think is an obstacle that really helps or stops people from growing in their business?
I would say the biggest one is the opinions of others.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there because they're so scared about what the people in their high school are going to think about them or how it's going to reflect on their family and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I do not care if you're talking down on me. Like
that says more about you.
Yeah. Like I'm actually taking action and I'm making a life that I truly love. So those people's opinions don't have anything on me, but I know a lot of people that are just scared to be judged.
Yeah.
They're scared to be seen, actually. Like, they're scared to put themselves out there because they're scared that people are going to think, what is she doing? Why is she doing that? And they will think that. Honestly, for me, I started in high school. When I was walking through the hallways, like, people were literally like, who does she think she is? Like, that's how it was.
Yeah.
People were telling me, you're in a scam, you're doing all these things. And I just didn't care. I was like, I'm actually making money from my freaking phone right now. So you can say whatever that you want, but you're not paying my bills, babe. I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
So it's really just like, you just got to get over that. You have to get over it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's probably more of an inner work thing that you need to do is like, why do you really care about the opinions of others? That's something that I do help a lot of my clients with because they're so scared to show up and to show different parts of their lives because they're scared of the opinions. And that's just being scared of being seen, not being enough, maybe not looking perfect enough. And we have to work through those things because if you don't, you're literally going to be staying in that same place for the rest of your life where you never take risks, you never take action, and you don't put yourself out there, which is not okay. Like, you're not going to reach all your dreams by staying small and just like, I don't know, not playing it big.
It's really interesting because you're in the beauty industry and you're dealing with people who are in the beauty industry, and you would think that comes with some form of like confidence.
Oh,
and
totally.
Like, and what you're describing is basically women who are saying, I'm not confident at all right now. Like, I need help to even put this out to market.
Yeah, like face to camera. Like, they can't do face to camera.
But what a juxtaposition, because it's beauty,
Totally,
right?
Totally. And that's where like I have to sit there and I'm like, there's something that happened to you where you experienced a lot of lashback, or someone was bullying you maybe when you were a kid and they made you feel less than for showing up as authentic as you are. And so now you want to put this mask on, or you don't want to show up at all. Like, you're using either filters on Instagram or you're just not showing up at all, period. And that is holding you back from progressing. Like, you have to do those things. Like, that's gonna, if you're building a business, like a lot of my girls are estheticians.
Okay.
They have esthetician businesses or they own med spas.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be personal sometimes on social media. They don't want to put their face to camera. But I'm like, that's how people will trust you. They really will be like, wow, I would love to go see her. She actually looks so friendly and so inviting, and she's so silly. Like, I like that.
Yep.
That's who I would like to go to. Like, whenever I'm going to go buy from somebody, I want to see who they are, what's their vibe. Like, even for this, I wasn't going to come on here without knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And when I could find things that I could relate to, like you having a baby and you being an awesome business owner, I was like, oh, I resonate with this girl. I would love to come do this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just cracking that door open. And I know that we all want privacy, but when you crack that door open, you allow a lot of people to relate and understand who you are. And that's amazing.
Hey, why waste your time doom scrolling when you could be learning how to raise capital, manage a team, or be a boss? It's time to level up and hit that subscribe button for the Young Boss Podcast. Now, back to the show. I think it's true because I am very turned off by nameless, faceless businesses.
Oh, yeah. That's up on the rise right now.
It is. But when I go to a website and I'm like,
no.
When I click about us and it literally just tells me like a paragraph about the business, I'm like, no, this is supposed to be about us. Like,
who are you?
Who are you?
Totally.
What are you doing here? And when I don't find it, I actually like am turned off by it.
Oh, totally.
Because I'm not going to sign up for a brand. Like, I want to sign up for the person. And I think that there is a very stark shift right now between a lot of younger generations coming into this saying, no, we want to buy people. We don't want to buy brands.
Yep.
And the older generation saying like brand all day. Now I understand a person can become a brand, and that is the key.
Totally.
But it has to be the person.
Yeah. People buy from people.
People buy from people.
It's so true. It's 100% true.
Yeah. Talk to me about like tools that you're using with your girls. Are you going through like vision boards and things like that? Like, talk to me about that.
Journaling is probably the number one.
Okay.
I am an avid journaler, and I really feel like it allows you to access your conscious and subconscious.
Love it.
So you can dive in deep and you can really see like what's going to flow out onto this paper right now. So for me personally, I journal every single day because I like to stay connected with myself and also with source, of course. Yeah. I want to make sure that I'm showing up and I'm knowing, where are my emotions sitting today? Am I feeling low? Am I feeling high? Am I feeling good? Am I feeling bad? Am I upset? Am I motivated? Am I whatever? I want to know how I'm feeling. Because a lot of us live on autopilot. We're just continuing, moving through the motions, not having time for ourselves, serving everyone around us before we serve ourselves. And that's just not how I do it. I fill up my cup and then I show up for all the people that I love, my family first, and then of course my clients. And I think that that's the way to do it. So journaling is probably the number one. And then a lot of the other things are just like, meditation is a big tool for me. Okay. I love meditating. Yeah. That's something that I've finally got consistent with this past year. I feel like becoming a mother, I needed to have that space for me. Yeah. And I just saw, you see all these people talking about meditating. Yes. Why are they talking about meditating? Because it works. Like, plain and simple. It freaking works. You're connecting with yourself. You're connecting with God, source, whatever that you believe in. Yeah. And to me, that's a great way to live your life. Like, I am on this earth to help and to heal. Yeah. And so if I'm just showing up in this world to just take more action and keep progressing, like, I'm really not growing internally. I'm just growing externally. I'm building my bank account, but am I really feeling more fulfilled? Am I feeling happier on a daily basis? Yeah. So connecting with myself and my clients connecting with themselves is extremely important to me. Yeah. So I make sure that they're doing those things. And then the subconscious reprogramming is really freaking cool.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Subconscious reprogramming is something that I've dove into a lot this past year as well, because a lot of us experience things throughout our childhood, whether it's trauma or like me, I thought that I had a pretty normal childhood. Okay. Like, I grew up in a really beautiful home. My parents were together. I didn't really think that I had quote unquote trauma. Everyone would talk about it and I'm like, thank God I don't have that. But then when you really like peel back the layers and you start to maybe recognize like the blind spots that like you haven't remembered in many years. Okay. And you're like, wow, I really felt a lot of shame during this experience in my life. Or I felt really embarrassed when this happened to me or whatever. All of those things from ages maybe 4 to 16. Yeah. Any experiences that cause high emotion, those are going to stick with you because our bodies store trauma. Yes. And so if you don't work through those things, they're gonna come up within behaviors. That's if you staying stagnant. That's you not progressing. That's you sleeping in every day. That's you just not getting after it because you've got all these things just weighing you down, and it's unconscious. That's why it's in your subconscious brain. You don't know these things are happening. No. But when you work with somebody, they can point out to you, that's actually you self-sabotaging right now. Yeah. You're not getting on social media, or you're not making time for your business or to connect with yourself because you're avoiding something or whatever. So I do subconscious reprogramming with them by going back to traumatic events and actually helping them shift the way that they saw them. So for example, let's say your dad was just like really mean to you growing up, and he was always saying like, you're worthless, or you're never good enough, or why can't you be better? Why can't you be more productive like your sister? Or you're so lazy, or all of those things that your parents say to you. Yeah. You take them on as truth, and that's who you are. Yeah. And then you start to notice later on in your life that you're not progressing and if these things stick with you.
Right.
And that's the work that you have to do. So I go back into those memories and I'm like, all right, so I go through a deep like breathing process with them. And then I allow them to really see the full picture, because now we're adults. Now we can see it as, wow, my dad was running $1 million business. Maybe he was super stressed out. Maybe he had a lot of employees that were just horrible, or maybe he was losing his business. Maybe he was getting fired. Maybe he was just going through a lot and he took it out on me.
Yeah.
And you can see those experiences as things that actually aren't about you.
Yep.
They were all about him and what he was going through. And maybe he's a great guy now.
Right.
But you can remove this attachment of your identity to those things. And it's important because a lot of times you're trying to become this new version of you. You're like, I'm a CEO now. I'm a powerful woman and I'm this and I'm that. But then this old version of you is like, no, like, but like, I'm still here. I'm still here. And so you have to break that line and disconnect from that younger version of you that didn't get the love, that didn't get the fulfillment, and didn't truly be appreciated for who she was.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of just deep work, and I love it. Like, it's my favorite thing. It's a lot of the work that I do with myself.
Yeah.
I am so committed to breaking free of the things that are holding me back. And I feel like that's what has allowed me to get into the position that I'm in currently.
How do you, it sounds like a little bit of business therapy.
Yeah.
You're doing, right?
Yeah, it totally is.
Okay, how do you not carry it all yourself? Like, take all of that into your day? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
totally.
they're piling on.
Yes. I've definitely had a couple sessions where I will come downstairs and I'll talk to my man and I'll just be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That was really deep, because
Yeah.
girls feel very open to tell me things that they've never told anyone, or
Right.
they've talked to a therapist with, but they've just talked to the therapist and like they didn't process those experiences.
Yeah.
And so then they're still with them. So they come to me and they're allowed to finally express how they feel. And it can be heavy because girls go through a lot. Like, a lot of the things that a lot of my clients have gone through is like sexual trauma.
Yeah.
And that's a really deep topic. That's
Yeah.
not light stuff, but we really sit there and like, we cry it out, and I allow them to feel those feelings and to release that, because a lot of times we just want to push it to the back of our head. We don't want to think about those things anymore. But I allow them to come up so that we can just like allow it to rise and allow it to dissipate, and then we can move on from it. But for me personally, I have to just center myself and just make sure that before I hop on the next session with another client, that I'm coming in with clean energy. I'm not showing up with like past things and whatever. But it's definitely a process, and it's something that I've had to learn, of just like making sure that I'm not carrying any of that with me. But a lot of times I just know that that's not what I went through, and I don't need to carry that. It's okay. Like, they went through it. I held space for them. I'm helping them so much, and it's clearing it for both of us.
How has it been working with women who are older than you? Was that ever intimidating?
I would say, I mean, honestly, it's so cool. I love it. I have a lot of women twice my age that are working with me, and it's awesome. I love it. I think that they see that there's a whole new way of doing things, especially as business owners, like realtors or women who have, I don't know, like they work in big companies or whatever, and they're like, oh wow, like this younger girl is doing things in a totally different way. I have a lot to learn from her, and that's so cool. It's very special for me, because I'm like, wow, it makes me happy that somebody older than me like really sees how far along I am. So it's not intimidating at all. This is my gift. So like, it doesn't make much sense for how old I am, but it's just my gift. So of course I can help whoever you are at whatever age you are at, because that's what I'm gifted with. I don't know.
Do you think youth has been an advantage or a disadvantage to you?
I would say definitely an advantage, but I have recently taken like my age off of some of my social profiles because I don't want people to know. Because sometimes if you don't know who I am and somebody just says she's 23, she's a business and life coach, they're like, what does a 23-year-old know about relationships or my business or whatever? Like, what does she know? And so that's where it can be a little bit challenging. But I just allow, like, if you're a closed-minded person, I'm not here to please closed-minded people. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. But most people are so surprised of my age, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so much further than I've ever seen anybody else or whatever. They give me great compliments and I'm so appreciative of it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it is true because it probably is a little bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, but then the more experience you have under your belt, then it is like no, I've been there. And when you can prove to yourself that you know you can do this over and over again, then it doesn't really matter who the client is. And
truly help people. Like the results are... My mom actually asked me this yesterday. She's like, how do you know that you're like actually helping people?
Yeah.
And it's what I started this episode off with, is like helping them, knowing that they're not only scaling their income, because that's freaking really awesome.
Yeah.
It's great for them to have more experiences and fulfillment, but when they're not feeling stress and when they're finally just like able to be in peace again, or they feel more like themselves than they've ever felt, the results are there. And I feel like people understand that massively.
Absolutely. Talk to me about being a mother, because now you have a gorgeous little. How do you balance that role? Because your man has a very out of the house busy job.
Yeah.
So how do you do it all?
I love being a mom.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful that I got pregnant so young. It was an unplanned pregnancy. Kind of happened out of the blue with a man I met at the gym. I walked right up to him. He was lifting more weight than he's ever lifted. I was like, I would like to connect with you. So got his number, and from there we hit it off. We never stopped talking. That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And things progressed real quickly. Now we have a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah.
And she is my pride and joy. It's so cool being a parent when you're so into personal development, and my man is too, because we just know that every single thing that we say to this little girl, she's going to soak up. And for us, we just know how amazing she's going to be, because we're always cheering her on. And like, even for who she is right now, she's just so loving, so helpful, so sweet. And like, when you see a little tiny 1.5-year-old picking up your trash because you dropped it, that's like the coolest thing ever. But it's because we're always encouraging her. So super duper awesome. I love it. But I would say there are definitely some challenges. I really understand why moms are stay-at-home moms now, because they want to devote all their time and their energy to their daughters. And I love that so much for them. But I really have big dreams and goals to impact as many lives as physically possible. And for me to do that, I can't be a stay-at-home mommy. And I kind of get to do both, though. Like, I got to be a business owner and I get to stay at home and play with my baby. She goes to daycare maybe 2 or 3 times a week, which is nice, or my sisters come and watch her. And during those few days, I am in grind mode. I am completely focused on my clients, or I'm completely focused on the future of my business. And I just make it work. But it definitely was a challenge trying to figure out, where does motherhood fit in with also me being so ambitious and wanting so much for myself. So it was a challenge. But then when I found that I could just like have a few days where she's at daycare and I can just like provide so much value to the collective, I'm fulfilled in both ends. I'm like, yay, like I'm doing this all so that her and I can sit in a beautiful kitchen and like bake some freaking cookies. Like, that's the coolest part. And having trips with her and like taking her to Italy, like those are the big things that I'm in this for, so that she can experience this beautiful world. And so it's a balance, but I feel like I've really nailed it. And I didn't allow motherhood to change me. I am completely the same person. And I'm just like, now I'm even more myself, which is so cool. She's amplified me.
Oh, she's amplified you. I love that. That's cool. When you talk to moms who are on the opposite side of that, who are just like, everything about me has changed, or you have girlfriends who everything about them does change, do you feel like that is something that's like, there's some work to do here, or did you consciously go into it saying like...
Oh, I definitely consciously went into it.
Okay.
I told myself when I got pregnant, I will not lose myself. And I continued to just show up for myself. There was definitely in the beginning, I would say the first 6 weeks maybe, where you're so engulfed in the newborn stage and they're sleeping a lot, but it's still, you're so on demand and it's beautiful. Like, you love it, but it can be really, really heavy. And so like, I remember there was a time where I literally ended up breaking down, and I was just like, my nails aren't painted, my hair needs washed, my legs need shaved. Like, this is ridiculous. And I just kind of hit a place with myself of, I'm not allowing this. This is not going to happen. And I'm going to advocate for myself, and I'm going to make sure that I am not just devoting my entire life to this baby, because if I am not okay, my baby will not be okay. And I have to prioritize that. I have to prioritize having a clean house, so that my brain works correctly. Like, I just stay on top of things. And also, she does everything with me. When I'm getting ready in the morning, she's sitting there going through all my makeup drawers. Like, when I'm doing my skincare, she's getting all my skincare out. Like, we just do everything together. So all of the self-care practices that I have, like, she sits on the floor and she plays with my crystals. Like, she is in it with me, and I love that. So I just feel like a lot of women allow that to become their all, and it's fine if you do, but if you have a business and you need to make sure that you're staying balanced, you have to make sure that you're showing up for yourself. Because that's going to be the best, and especially for your relationship. Like, you got to show up for your relationship as well, and have that individual time with like your man or whatever.
Okay, I love it. I think it's so interesting when you watch business owners get into motherhood and fatherhood and see how it does change them, priorities, and what's important. And I think it makes a lot of people work harder. And I love that. But I also think that people shut off so many things, especially as a business owner, becoming, you know, a mom or a dad. They say like, okay, now this is a priority. So something is falling off. And what falls off is a lot of times either yourself or like any time with friends or this or that. And I've seen friends go through that, and it's so hard because you're like, I want to like pull you out of this, but also it's a you thing. You have to do it. Because if you don't think that these things are important anymore in your life, it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for me, there are days where I have to tell my man, like, hey, I need a sec. I'm going to grab my journal and go to the mountains. And I just sit in my car in silence and just journal. And like, I have to have that time for myself so that my cup is filled. And right now, like, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I'm meditating first thing, then I'm journaling, then I'm reading a chapter of my book. And then my daughter wakes up at 6:30 or 6:45. So my cup is filled. And then when she wakes up, I am like, hi, baby.
Yeah, like you're ready.
I'm so excited to spend my time with her because I'm not just rolling out of bed and being like, oh, I need to go get my daughter. Oh, like, she's going to be such a drain today or whatever. Like, I'm not like that. I'm so excited to spend time with her. And it's just because I'm coming from a place of gratitude and not from a place of, oh, I'm so stressed out. So it's really, it is your priorities for sure. Okay,
I'm going to do some quick fire questions for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, what is one book or podcast every business owner must read or listen to?
Book is going to be 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra.
Okay.
Love that.
Love it. Best business decision you've made in your business?
Deciding to leave a company that I made 6 figures with and go off on my own.
Okay. One thing you're working to accomplish this year?
This year, I would say in the next year, I would love to hit 1 million downloads on my podcast.
I love it.
That would be
Let's
awesome.
do it. Give her a listen.
Yeah.
3 words to describe your business.
Passion, freedom, fulfillment.
Ooh.
Easy.
Biggest misconception of business coaching or mentorship?
I would say that it's just all like a facade, maybe, that people think that people show up a certain way on social media, and then when they're behind closed doors, like, they're not that same person. At least for me, I am exactly who I am online and in person, and I'm truly here to help. So I think that can be hard to decipher when you're on social media, of, like we were talking about earlier, knowing if people are just in it for the money or if they're actually in it to help people. So I feel like that's a really hard thing to discern.
Yeah. One person you look up to most in your industry?
Ooh, I would say Rochelle Fox.
Okay.
She's an incredible woman from, I'm pretty sure, Australia.
Yeah.
And she's just built a beautiful business and really helped people just get more connected with themselves and their purpose.
I love it. Where are you by the age of 30?
Oh my goodness. Multi-millionaire, baby. Multi-millionaire. Definitely have multiple properties that I'm owning, managing. Yeah. I would love to just be able to have the ability to just pick up and leave whenever I want to with my daughter and hopefully my son by that point. Yeah. And my man, and just decide, like, let's go make some memories this weekend. Yeah. I just want to live a life of just more freedom and more fulfillment, more purpose, and allow myself to truly just spend my days however I want and help millions of people. If I'm going to be a millionaire, I want to be helping multi-millions. Awesome. Speaking on insane stages. I cannot wait.
Let's do it.
30 sounds so exciting. Like, oh. I can't wait.
Claim it. Okay. Can you give us 3 tactical tips for young entrepreneurs or business owners that they need to know before they get started?
Yes. Prioritize your mindset.
Okay.
Number 1. Number 2, utilize social media.
Yeah.
Best tool for any business, in my opinion. And number 3, block out the noise and stop paying attention to what everyone else is doing and find what actually drives you, not what's making everyone else successful. Find what you're actually excited for and ready to wake up for every single day and feel fulfilled and purpose driven.
What does being a young boss mean to you?
Being a young boss means that you are ready to put yourself out there and get rid of all the excuses, get after it, and make a name for yourself and the future legacy that you have.
There we go. Young boss.
Yay!
Okay, you did amazing. Okay,
Thank
tell
you.
us where to find you, or if somebody wants to book you and work with you,
Oh,
how do they reach out?
Yes. Okay. So my Instagram is Sav Schaefer.
Okay.
I've got a podcast called Secrets to Alignment, helping you get into alignment with balance and all things in your life. And if you would like to work with me, I'm actually fully booked right now, which is so cool to
That is
say.
exciting.
I love it. So I actually have a wait list.
Okay.
So if you'd like to work with me, there's a link in my bio and you can work with me in the next couple months and I will help you scale your business and take your life to more freedom and fulfillment.
Fabulous. Well, congratulations. She's booked and busy, girl.
I love it. I love it so much.
Well, thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss with your host, Isabelle Guarino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And let us know, do you need a mindset and business coach? I'm sure you do. Remember, youth is your power.